course we come here. Of course. Shadow 12. Cemetery. 41 support. West. 42% of Anchorage now.
You've got your objective. Don't let anything stand in your way.
What's up, agents? How y'all doing? Hope everybody's well, being safe out there. At least as safe as you need to be. So we got Season 7 started now. As you guys can see, it seems to be a repeat of Season 3. As far as I can tell so far, there's nothing new they've brought to the table. So all I can do is show you some new build ideas that I've come up with based off of old stuff. So one of the things that I thought about, any of you guys who have been subscribed to the channel for a while know that I have my hardcore character, that I went through all the hardcore commendations with the exception of the raids. If any of you guys do the raids in hardcore, hit me up. You know, I'm still trying to get that stuff done. But what I wanted to do was try to take the variation of the build that I ran for hardcore. You could see the actual link to that up above right here. But what I wanted to do is see, since I didn't have to worry so much about going down anymore, could I take that variation of the build and make something that is actually endgame viable and worth using in the standard softcore mode for Legendary. So I put together this offensive healing build. It's based around, I mean, you could use whatever skill you want. I choose the assault turret. You could always go with the striker drone if you want to go that route. Like every one of my builds, this is a template that I found works really great for me, and you need to tweak it based on the gear you have, RNG, and really your own play style, how you like to play. So without further ado, I will lay down how I play it, but of course, use and play the way you want to. Real quick before doing that, if you guys enjoy this, do me a favor, smash that like button. Hopefully, if I haven't earned your subscription by the end of this, I will have. The best thing you can do to help my channel is simply sharing this video. Hopefully, there's something that you find interesting enough to share or that can help a fire team member, a friend, or somebody. All right, without further ado, let's jump right on into the build. All right, so I guess what we'll do first is go over the specialization. We're going to be using the Technician. The main reason we're going to use this is for the amp. This gives us +1 skill tier. This will allow us to stay at skill tier 5 instead of skill tier 4 based on this build. So this will make sure that our healing and our turret are doing that much more damage. We're also going to get the benefit of the Faraday field. This will keep us and team members within 5 meters of our deployed skill from being shocked or disrupted. Both the turret and the hive will provide the Faraday field. So I will use this to great effect that way to help the team. And of course, this came, in hardcore mode. This helped to keep myself alive. If I wasn't getting shocked or disrupted, I had a better chance of surviving. One thing not to overlook is it's because of diminishing returns, a little small, but we have the overclock CPU. This will add an extra 10% skill damage. Theoretically, because of this build, I could run, I feel like I have enough healing, but I could run the extra healing instead of overclock CPU if I wanted to do that. That's up to you guys. We do get access to the Link laser pointer. This will allow you to pulse targets. It helps to keep an eye on them. If anybody's running spotter, that will allow them to get the bonus damage from that without having to run a dedicated pulse. In addition, you also get dismantling. This is a 12% damage bonus to robotics, proxies, and basically any inorganic material. So at the top end, because of diminishing returns, is still only about a 5% damage bonus, but it's still a damage bonus. All right, Oh, and lastly, of course, we get the rocket launcher, the MIRV launcher, and I love this thing. This is great. So, all right, that's it for the specialization. All right, guys, next we're going to go over the gear brand sets and the talents that would be associated with such. So this is a true Hexotic build. We're not going to be using any gear sets, so we'll take those off the table. First, I'll cover what we're going to be using. Actually, the exotic we're going to be running for the gear is going to be the Memento. And this will give us the kill confirmed. Every time we kill an enemy, it'll drop a trophy, which will give us a long-term and short-term bonus. So the short-term bonus will net us 15% weapon damage. It will net us 20% repair skill and 20% skill damage. And it will also give us 10% of our bonus armor for those 10 seconds. So in this iteration, it will be, depending on how you run your build, it'll be between 900,000 and 1.1 million. So you get 10% of that every time you pick up one of these trophies. The long-term buff, which lasts for 5 minutes and stacks up to 30 stacks, is a much more substantial buff. This will end up yielding us 30% skill damage, 30% repair skill, 30% weapon damage, as well as up to 3% armor, true armor regen, not bonus armor. It'll give us actual armor regen per second. So the M30 stacks is an incredible bonus, and of course shines even better if you're constantly picking up trophies, so you have the short-term and the long-term bonus buffed for you at the same time. Now we're actually going to be running 5 different brand sets. We're not going to be doubling up on anything, and I think you guys will see why as it comes down to it. So first off, we'll be starting with Alps. The Alps Summit will give us 20% repair skill, and it's also a skill tier. Next, we will be running a Wyvern. This will give us plus 10% skill damage. Now, we will be running a CV piece that was perfectly rolled, essentially. So I was able to roll the weapon damage into skill tier. So this would normally be weapon core. All right, now we got our 2 actual weapon cores. So we are going to be running a Fenris. This will give us plus 10% AR damage. This is to buff the damage of our capacitor. And depending, there's 2 different secondary weapons I'll run. I'll show you guys in a moment. If I'm running the FAMAS, this of course will buff the FAMAS. And then in case I'm running the alternate secondary weapon, which is an LMG, we have the Petrov. But specifically, we're running the Contractor's Gloves. And this is because not only does it give us the plus 10% LMG damage, we get that plus 8% damage to armor. And when coupled with the capacitor, this will give us an overall plus 20% damage to armor, which is huge. So those are the brand sets we are running. We're running the 5 different unique brand sets and then the Memento. One last thing I will note, if you agents do want to get a little more survivability at the cost of reducing your critical hit chance by 10%, you could remove the CV piece and replace it instead with a Bellstone Armory. Natively, this will come with an armor core, so this can net you up to 170 bonus armor, but if you get the perfect roll, you can roll that into skill tier. Well, what this will do is instead of 10% critical hit chance, this will give you a bonus 1% armor regen per second. So at the native, at stock, right when you're walking out of the safe area, you'll have 1% armor regen per sec. So you'll already have that survivability. And when you stack everything up with the momentum, this will give you 4% of your armor regen per second. I personally like the crit hit chance. I just feel like I pump out that much more damage. But this may be an option for you if you feel like you get more benefit from that. So again, just my opinion. As far as the talents, you got to choose what talents work best for you. But I finally found what I feel is the most efficient use of kinetic momentum. Most of the time we're using it to just simply buff 2 skills that are damaging, right? So that nets us up to 30% damage for both skills. But since we are using 1 damage skill and 1 healing skill, that means my kinetic momentum when it max stacks will give me 30% damage to the turret, but also buffing that hive healing by 60%. So this gives a much larger bonus than almost any other build I have running with kinetic momentum. So I really love the perk here, but there are lots of other perks you can choose from. I won't go into those now. leave a comment. Let me know what you use if you find that you like something better than Kinetic Momentum. Alright, so I just wanted to go ahead and test a couple different combinations of mods. So we tried out the different combinations: crit hit chance, crit hit damage, repair skill, and skill haste mods to find out where the sweet spot is. My personal preference I found to be to run 1 skill haste, 1 repair skill, and 1 critical hit damage mod. I believe that's what I ended up with. The real point is all of them work out. As you see, the damage numbers don't differentiate too much no matter what I do here. So you can really just play around with, and what it comes down to is you can just use whatever mods you have, whatever the best mods you are, throw them on there. But anyway, you guys can see there we get between 1.5 and almost 1.7 million DPS. So choose what you will. So next, let's talk about the weapons. So the exotic weapon we're going to be using, of course, as everybody already knew, is the capacitor. This, of course, will net us a weapon bonus based upon the number of skill tiers that we have. Now, you guys will note that technically we only have 4 skill tier because amped does not count. So at 7.5 times 4, that means we're going to be rocking 30% innate weapon damage on top of the 15% assault rifle damage we get natively. There's that health damage that comes intrinsically with it. And of course, the big one, that 12% damage to armor. Now, the primary reason we're using on top of that is because as we shoot enemy, we gain stacks, up to 40 stacks. Each stack adding 1.5% skill damage. So that stacks up to an additional 60% skill damage. Now, I'll say this, and I've said it in all my videos, so anybody who's already heard this, I apologize, but I believe that they should change the capacitor from stacking skill damage to skill efficiency. That way, not only skill damage builds will benefit from it, but healing builds would benefit from it, and status effect builds would benefit from it. That's just my opinion. All right, so actually, before we talk about the secondary weapon, let me talk about the sidearm. So run whatever you want. You could run the card TDI custom. This would give you an extra skill tier. So technically you could pull this out and that would put you at skill tier 6. If you wanted to just lay back, buff the damage of your turret as well as the healing to your allies, and you could do something really cool like add in sync on this, and then you could buff your damage even more. Or the other option, you could run something like the backup boomstick or anything else with Future Perfect. You could even run Future Perfect on your card. In fact, in this iteration of the build, I think that running with the card would be of more benefit than the backup boomstick. As the backup boomstick, you're probably only going to get 1 kill, which will put you into skill tier 6, just like you'd always be if you had the card TDI out. However, if you do get 2 kills within the time frame, you will proc the overcharge, so that's something to consider. All right, now our secondary weapon. There's 2 different weapons that I consider running. I look at this FAMAS AR because we're spec'd into AR damage, and because of the fire rate, this puts a lot of damage out. And we got Reformation. So this will kick up our healing as well while we're doing bonus damage. The other weapon that I like to use is the 249 with In Sync. This will take the Link Laser Pointer. I can pulse targets as well as suppress them. So this can be benefit to help the team out by keeping enemies suppressed. So just, to be honest, I don't really go back and forth between these too much, as I generally just run with the capacitor. So if you're running something else, if you can think of something that works to great effect, let me know what it is. Another option you could do would be to use the mop for the extra 10% armor on kill. I just don't find that that's really necessary. We are running a massive amount of healing in this, so you don't really need the armor on kill. All right, guys. Lastly, I will note that you can run with the Scorpio if you want to put some status effects in to your build as well. We'll cover this a bit later as I'm talking about some of the basic mechanics and the stats, but Scorpio is another viable option. However, I think the capacitor does outshine it on quite a few levels, but you don't get the status effects. All right, for the skills, there's nothing out of the ordinary here. Running the assault turret, we're at skill tier 5. So you see, we're just aim to put out a base damage between 90 to 100,000. If you're under 90, you probably won't be killing stuff as quickly as you want to. But anywhere between 90 and 100k base damage is perfectly fine. And for the healing, aim for about 200 to 250,000 healing per charge. Remember, this is all base, so all these will be buffed. And so as long as you hit those thresholds, this is totally viable for Legendary. So just Assault Turret, Restorer Hive, basic stuff right here. Alright guys, so before just letting a little bit of gameplay play out, I'll just tell you the basic kind of stats we're looking at. I hope my math is on. I've double checked it a couple times, so I'm hoping we're right about there. So if these numbers fluctuate a little bit, I apologize. But so looking at our static build without, like right out the gate, as soon as we leave the safe area, we should be looking at 60% skill damage. 70% skill damage. Forgot about overclock CPU. 70% skill damage, 80% repair skill. We'll be looking at a static weapon damage of 85%. So that's pretty huge for what most people would consider a skill build. Now, as soon as we get our capacitor up to the 40 stacks, your skill damage will jump from 70% to 130%. Now, as soon as we get the first kill confirmed and you pick up the very first trophy, all of a sudden your skill damage is going to jump up to 150%. Your repair skill will jump up to 100%. And our weapon damage will jump up to 100%, as well as we get 10% bonus armor that lasts for 10 seconds every time we pick up one of these kills confirmed. Now, if you're picking up those short-term buffs, but you end up stacking up your kill confirmed count all the way to M30, now all of a sudden we're looking at 180% skill damage. You're looking at 130% repair skill, and you're looking at 130% weapon damage, on top of the 10% bonus armor you get per kill confirm stack that you pick up, and 3% of your armor regen, that's true armor regen per second. Now, can we get even higher than that? Yeah. Kinetic Momentum. As soon as Kinetic Momentum, both your skills are out and they stack up to max, now we're looking at 210% skill damage. We're looking at 90% skill repair. We're looking at 130% weapon damage. You're looking at the bonus armor, and you're looking at 3% armor per second. So when we are maximum stacked out, we have an incredible amount of skill damage, an incredible amount of healing, a good amount of weapon damage, and we have sustain in our bonus armor. And without accounting for the Restore Hive, we have natural innate healing ourselves once those momentum stacks are built up. So this build is covering basically everything except for status effects. The one thing I will add, if you absolutely feel like you want to go jack of all trades, swap out the capacitor, lose 60% skill damage, but then you get the Scorpio, which will let you stack up that bonus damage, that 20% bonus damage from other sources once you stack that up, amongst a myriad of other status effects. So if you really feel like you want to have everything going on, throw that Scorpion in there. All right, agents, so that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say that hasn't already been covered. We get good skill damage. Now, we only have the turret, but the cool thing about the turret is you could pick it up, you could move it around, you could put it down someplace else. The only downside to doing that is it resets your kinetic momentum stacks for the turret. So that resets 15 of your stacks. We get a good amount of healing. Again, picking up the hive resets the kinetic momentum, but you can move your healing around as you need to. Our weapon damage, based on the contractor's gloves and the Fenris piece, essentially 3 reds, right, between the momentum, the contractors, and the Fenris, and then all the bonuses that we get from the capacitor. I mean, we're kicking out solid weapon damage. And the only other area that, we got survivability through the natural healing that we'll stack up. So again, the only area we're really missing is status effects. And you can throw on the Scorpio if you need it, but it's just it's not needed. The biggest thing about this is if you're playing in a team, actually just all the time, you don't want to push too far ahead. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you can get flanked. The turret will help you out as long as you can. You essentially want to try to keep enemies bottlenecked as much as possible. Other than that, gameplay is pretty much the same as most skill builds, offensive skill builds. It's also very similar to most offensive weapon damage builds. So give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you changed. Let me know what you run differently. And do me a favor, agents, smash that like button. Hopefully I've earned your subscription. Share this video if you think it'll help some other people. Yeah, not a whole lot else to say about it. I'm hoping that maybe there's something sneaky that they're going to squeeze into Season 7 here that they haven't advertised. As of right now, we're just going to be spending the time, I guess, revisiting some of the older builds and seeing how we can tweak them a little bit and maybe just have some more fun with them. I was really hoping for some brand new stuff, maybe a new exotic, maybe a couple new named items. It's been forever since we've gotten anything new. Since the last raid. Since they brought Iron Horse. So, yeah. Anyway, last thing. Let me know what you agents are hoping to see Ubisoft and Massive bring to the table in the weeks to come. All right, agents, thank you so much for watching this. Y'all be safe out there. Safe as you need to be. And I will check you in the Dark Zone.
detected.
Thanks a lot for watching, agents. I hope you guys got something out of this, or at least enjoyed the video. Next week, I'm going to be coming back with some status effect variations, and I got a couple of build ideas already set for the future as well. So, do me a favor, smash that like button. Hopefully, I've earned your subscription. You guys will come back for some more build videos. Do me a favor, share this. That's the best way to help the channel. All you guys, take it easy, be as safe as you need to be, and I will catch you, agents, in the dark zone.